Good morning on this special day in the Kenyan calendar. Happy Madaraka Day from the Royal Media Services. Those were the live pictures from Homa Bay County, where the event will be happening today and will be officiated by President William Ruto in the company of other top government officials for the 63 years since the nation still is under construction. And Homa Bay County, which has been basking in glory, will be the focal point of attention this morning here on the broadcast, up until when the head of state will be granting those who are present there the lap of honor before the inspection of the Kenya Defence Forces parade, made up by the three services of the Air Force, the Army and the Navy. We'll be talking about the build-up to this important event in the county of Homa Bay, which included series of meetings between the head of state and the local leadership from the counties of Kisumu, Migori, Homa Bay and Siaya, and the bearing this has on the Kenyan calendar. There are many pending questions regarding the country and Kenya, which is still under construction since a day like this on a bright morning in 1963 at the doorsteps of the Harambee House, when Mzee Jomo Kenyatta was ceremoniously sworn in as Kenya's first Prime Minister by the Prime Minister, then Kenya's first Prime Minister, Governor Malcolm MacDonald. And these were some of the major events which had happened in the aftermath of Mzee Jomo Kenyatta. In the face of the new dawn is what we'll be having a discussion around here on the broadcast. That will be joined by Provost Dr. Evans Omolo, who from the All Saints Cathedral, lawyer Kidi Mwaga and Ahmed Hashi, who is governance commentator, to take stock in terms of the juxtaposing of the events in the aftermath of 1963 and where we are, and pre-1963, and the changes regarding what's been achieved in terms of governance and Kenya's democracy, the state of the nation generally. Many events have happened, and which had led to, of course, significant calendar times in the country, given what has happened since 1963, as well as the engagement we'll be having here on the broadcast of our team that's in the county of Homa Bay. The trio of Laura Otieno, Emmanuel Toh and Stephen Leto will be joining us here to give us a feel of what will be happening. I also understand that my colleague Seth Olale will be part to make them a quartet, and they will be giving us the breakdown of the significance this has in the Kenyan political and historic calendar, given the celebrations that have been marked year in, year out since 1963. Of course, marking the inception, the day itself, of internal self-governance and the beginning of a collective team in the aftermath of independence after June morning in 1963. First, let's get hold, before we engage our team in studio, of Seth Olale and Laura Otieno. Good morning, Seth. Good morning, Laura. And understandably, we'll be getting shortly hold of them to give us an understanding of what's been building up as a very important event today, the national event happening for the first time in Homa Bay County. And Seth, good morning to you. We understand that by 10 p.m. last night, the authorities were struggling to control the flooding of the stadium by the people who had spent the night there.
Yes, indeed, and good morning, Ayub Abdikadir from Homa Bay County. The crowd was here as early as 9:30 p.m. when the gate 1 and 2 were opened, but before midnight, all the gates accessing the Raila Odinga Stadium were shut because 20,000 spectators or attendees were already seated on the designated seats. What we have I'm also here with Laura. And Laura, you know, we've been here, camping here since yesterday, 24 hours to the event, and already it was all systems go.
Indeed, Seth, it's a euphoric kind of mood that the residents have here. Like you said, a lot of them had been here by yesterday night, and we saw some sort of commotion even in the morning because there were so many crowds trying to access the stadium, which is already full as it stands. And we are seeing a lot of dignitaries already coming in, a lot of leaders already coming in, basically to celebrate the 62nd edition of the Madaraka Day celebrations. It is the first time that Homa Bay County is hosting an event of such a magnitude. And you know, as they say in Swahili, is mwenyeji njo, mgeni njo, mwenyeji apone. So we are seeing a lot of development projects, a lot of major things launched by the president. There are roads that have been built, you know, sort of to say overnight. And of course, you can see a few leaders here. The Homa Bay woman representative, please welcome on set. Tell us, welcome to Citizen TV. Good morning. Yes, you can inform us perhaps what do you expect today?
We are very happy, and as the county MP or woman representative of Homa Bay County, I want to say happy Madaraka Day. Welcome to all our guests to this stadium. A stadium with a capacity of 12,000, but you can see by 1 p.m. we were packed to the brim. 16,000 packed, and people are outside full. Our expectation, we want to show the whole world that we are a united county. We want to show the whole world this is a county driven by women leaders, very strong and capable. And we want to thank the president for having chosen Homa Bay County to be the county that is hosting this year. I want to sincerely thank Baba, His Excellency Right Honorable Raila Odinga, because he has Western Kenya into heart. We are saying this is inclusivity exhibited, displayed in the country.
More residents of a number of We've seen the fisheries, the pier, the bay, Homa Bay Bay has also been opened. Quite a lot of activity, but what else when the president is going to make that particular speech at around 11 a.m.? What should the residents of Homa Bay expect?
One of the things that is critical, a healthy nation is a wealthy nation. We want to hear from the president the plan that is practical for our health, the hospitals and dispensary across. That is critical, because when we are healthy, we are going to utilize all the untapped resources in this nation. I want to say that our second expectation, we want fast and speedy move on industrialization, reviving the cotton industries, which even if the resources are not adequate, we are going to hear today that more resources are allocated so that the industries, the youths are having opportunities to be employed. We want to look into the Lake Victoria, which is untapped resources, that we are going to increase our net worth for blue economy.
Okay, thank you.
I expect that our women around Sofia, Duogo and many other places, we want pesa mashinani, pesa mfuko kwa kina mama. That is why I stand as an affirmative action woman. So in the announcement that is critical, we expect that women in SMEs, they are going to be fully empowered. We are going to see the practical, meaningful use of the Hustler Fund reach kwa mfuko ya kina mama mboga.
Thank you, and all the best even as you make your way inside the Raila Molo Stadium here in Homa Bay County. And before I bring over Laura, I just want to demonstrate what's happening right now. So this is a VIP gate. It's called Gate A, strictly for VVIPs and VIPs. It is at this particular entrance where we expect the head of state and the first lady, and also we expect the deputy president, also cabinet secretaries, and of course all the KDF commanders and their respective departmental heads. What will happen is that all the vehicles will be all the vehicles are actually instructed by the protocol teams to drop the VVIPs just outside the gate. So right now they're just walking inside. It's strictly a restricted area. There's heavy security deployment at this particular entrance, because it is at this entrance where we expect the entourage of His Excellency Dr. President Dr. William Samoei Ruto to make its way from this particular entrance. So more and more VIPs, religious leaders, members of parliament, members of county assembly, and especially Homa Bay County, a lot more are making their way from this particular entrance. And Loda, even before we hand over to my colleague Stephen Leto on the other side of this particular facility, it's quite electric already. We saw crowds coming here at 9:30 p.m. They have actually had their vigil here, but what more can they expect? Because before we cross over to Emmanuel Too.
Of course, Seth, like you said, it's a lot of color, there's a lot of happiness, a lot of joy, and the crowd inside is already eccentric. People are excited, you know, dancing and gyrating to popular artists from this region. So, of course, we expect not just, a sort of heroic welcome for the president, you know, considering the recent political happenings. We're expecting that he's going to receive a very warm reception, you know, to enjoy the hospitality of the Nyanza region as a whole, because we have a host of leaders, like you said, from across the country, from across the Nyanza region. So it's going to be quite a colorful affair, and we expect that as soon as the program starts, we're going to see more of that color trooping in to see the residents, you know, the leaders, and everybody basically enjoying what Homa Bay has to offer. And like you said, the woman representative has mentioned, it's also quite an interesting time to look at the blue economy, because you're seeing the president launching a host of projects. There are a lot of roads, not only in Homa Bay, but also in Kisumu, where the president mentioned that they're in talks with the government of China to ensure that there's the extension of the meter gauge railway. So it's a lot of mobility on the lake and on the roads and everywhere else.
I know Laura can tell us this more and more. She does not stop. But what's important is the function here is not stopping either, because the VVIPs, I can see the Luo Council of Elders making their way. It just tells you that this particular event, the Madaraka Day, the first ever of its kind in Homa Bay County, it's going to be spectacular, judging by the preparations that have been made already. Emmanuel Too, from where you stand, you are standing before over 15,000 fans. Let me just say 15,000. Of course, there will be football fans tomorrow when Gor Mahia versus AFC Leopards at this particular venue. But today they are attendees for the first ever Madaraka Day in Homa Bay County. What more is there, Emmanuel Too?
Well, thank you very much. Oyaure uru nyinga Emmanuel to in nyinga Stephen Leto Ole Otieno kachiel mar Homa Bay Stadium, Raila Odinga Stadium, Osechopo Madaraka Day. Wasechopo ka. That will mean that we have arrived. Yeah. You know, you don't arrive. We land. You don't arrive to Homa Bay. So thank you very much, sir. Of course, it's going to be hot today. Remember, it is the 62nd Madaraka Day celebrations, and by 10:30 p.m. last night, the stage full to capacity. Leto, what do you have to say about this?
I mean, there was a lot of excitement, of course, today, starting from last night when the stadium terrace were, filled to capacity. Locals here in Homa Bay literally spending the night at the Raila Odinga Stadium just to ensure that each one of them grabs a seat inside the stadium. Of course, the excitement was palpable. This is the very first time that Madaraka Day celebrations on a national day celebrations have been hosted here at the Raila Odinga Stadium here in Homa Bay.
Definitely, and this is the first broad-based event coming to the broad-based stronghold of Homa Bay after about 4 years when we had this event in Kisumu County during the COVID-19 period. And of course, yesterday we saw President William Ruto land here and telling people that myself and Baba Raila Odinga are going to work together. What does this event mean to the fact that we now have this arrangement?
I mean, there's been, of course, a lot that we expected today in the speeches, especially from President William Ruto. Of course, the protocol demand that the sitting governor or the host governor, who is Gladys Nasuna, will be the one welcoming the deputy president after making her remarks, welcoming the deputy president, and then the deputy president welcomes President William Ruto, who is the who will be grace the occasion, and then President William Ruto will, before making his remarks, of course, welcome the guest of honor today for this event, the president for Slovenia. But of course, and see whether Raila Odinga will be accommodated in the speeches. Of course, we will see whether he will be, co-opted into the running order. That is, but of course, we expect a lot. Of course, today the stadium is all full. The security situation in and around being, put. Roads leading actually to the Raila Odinga Stadium have been barricaded, or literally across the roads coming from Homa Bay, the roads coming from the sides of Mdiwa, the roads coming from the sides of Kopany, from the side of
Rodi Kopany. Actually, it was from the word road company, and then they changed it to Rodi Kopany.
Rodi Kopany, of course. So we expect a lot, of course. They say that the program today needs to start early. Yeah. We expect that between 9 and 10, then we will be having the military marching into the midfield. But of course, the big question is what happens to the large number of people who are still outside the stadium?
Yeah, and of course, I was speaking to the Principal Secretary for Internal Security, Dr. Raymond Tomolo, and he told me that by last night, by 10:30 p.m., the people who are outside this stadium are more than the people who are inside the stadium. The majority are outside.
Well, and it is one of the things that the organizers through the Interior Ministry tried to control. It could have ended up to be a stampede in the morning by ensuring that by 9 p.m. the eve of Madaraka Day, they started letting people in so that to just decongest outside, and by 3 p.m. all the gates had already
3 a.m.
all the gates had already been opened, and already the stadium was full.
Okay, and this is it is the backbone of the ODM party. From this county, Governor Gladys Wanga, and before her we had another chair from this county, that is the CS for Treasury, John Mbadi. Its fair share of the broad-based government.
I mean, when you go there, they say that through the broad-based government arrangement, they have donated their experts to government, and so they basically say that the experts were from the larger ODM party, and it is the ODM party, and of course the questions will remain about the changing tides in the country's political arena, where we are now having the new President William Ruto going into the previous opposition stronghold.
So we have to go. I'm told Seth Olale has a team of senators, I think, from different parts of the country. Seth, if you could hear us, we want to take it back to you as you also do that interview.
60 seconds, yeah. Okay. Just now.
Well, more and more VVIP arrivals. We've seen quite a number of parliamentarians, but the most important one right now perhaps is the host, Senator Honorable Kajwang. A momentous day for you, if you could just stand beside me over here. Senator, good morning from Homa Bay County, and you are the host. How important and how big is this event today?
And it's a beautiful day. I want to wish all Kenyans a happy Madaraka Day. And we are very pleased, we are very happy and very privileged to be hosting Kenyans on this auspicious occasion of Madaraka Day. You see, this part of the world, this is the first time since independence that we've gotten this opportunity to host Madaraka Day. And even though the theme of this Madaraka Day is on the blue economy, we want to extend it further and make it a Madaraka Day for integration, a Madaraka Day for unity, and a Madaraka Day for bringing people together. We also want it to be a Madaraka Day that focuses on the positive aspects of devolution. You have seen Homa Bay has undergone tremendous transformation just in a short period of time. And these are the fruits of our new constitution. And I want to encourage Kenyans, let us love our country. It is the only nation we have. And activities like these, when they come to the grassroots, they build a better sense of patriotism amongst Kenyans.
Okay, before I just release you, this is a major test for the broad-based, agenda, because it's the first of its kind in terms of Nyanza County hosting a national event after the broad-based arrangement. What more is expected from this?
Well, broad-based is about economic justice, social justice, and political justice. But this is a good gesture. We have seen the president make some very but ultimately the success of broad-based will be judged on the implementation of the 10-point MOU. Madaraka Day was not part of the 10-point agenda, but it is a good start.
Thank you. Honorable Kajwang, we'll leave you to go. You are the host and you need to invite guests. But let's now cross over to the government, the state itself. And now we are here with the principal secretary, SMEs, Karibu Sana. And, you're speaking to Citizen TV live, very, very momentous, event today. We've seen, high-level government officials, including you as the principal secretary. How important is this for the government?
Thank you so much. This day is very important because it makes us look back at the struggles by our heroes and also take stock of the commitments that you have made so far. Remember, at the independence, we had commitments, 3 critical commitments to defeat illiteracy, to defeat diseases, and also to defeat poverty. So today, 62 years down the line, we look back and see where we are today. And for me, especially in charge of MSME sector, I'm here to celebrate the efforts by majority of Kenyans, especially those at the bottom of the economic pyramid, who are playing a critical role through small businesses in helping us to push forward our country.
Pushing forward the country at a time when you said, you want 6 billion written off in terms of the Hustler Fund, is also what's the way forward actually in terms of economic empowerment, like you said, and especially as far as SMEs is concerned. But you see that particular announcement and you saw the reaction, writing off 6 billion. Will you put now an improved structure to make sure that, this is not a loss-making entity?
So, let me first of all just make certain clarification. The of debate that conversation has brought forward. First and foremost, that I called for the writing off of the 6 billion, where majority during the first and the second month beginning of the fund have not repaid. What I said is that we have Kenyans, about 9 million, who are borrowing repeatedly, who have since grown their limits. And for you to have grown a limit, let's say from 500 shillings, which was a base limit, to about 150, because we have a number of Kenyans who are borrowing up to 150,000, it means I need to fund. However, as far as the 6 billion, which you could say the bad debt is concerned, we know these Kenyans, we can identify them by their national identity card, we know where they are, and there's no money that is going to get lost. We are going to come up with sanctions and incentives to motivate their repayment. So no money is getting, and Kenyans will repay. Thank you.
They can enjoy the Madaraka Day. She took a lot of time to defend that particular settlement. All the best, Principal Secretary, SMEs. But Laura, look at this arrival. Look at the VVIP. Who is that? Is it the Deputy CDF? Is it the CDF himself? We're just going to find out in a moment, because remember that this is a military-led exercise. More and more VVIPs arriving here. All the commanders of the Kenya Army, Kenya Air Force, Kenya Navy, they're all here. And Laura, it's getting dicey right now, just hours to the arrival, of the head of state. And Laura, also you can mention what's just right in front of us, the official military open-air van that will take the president around the stadium for a guard of honor is already in place. So meaning that any moment from now, we are expecting now the very, very senior levels of state officers, Laura.
Yeah, sure, of course, Seth. It's something that It will be picking up pace as we continue, but then just to take it back to the studio to Ayub Abdikadir, we will be bringing you up to speed with the events here in Homa Bay County. As and they happen, we are at the VVIP section here with Seth Olale, so of course we will be letting our viewers know who has arrived and at what time. So right now, back to you, Ayub, in studio.
Thank you, Laura Otieno, Seth Olale, Stephen Leto, and Emmanuel To. Vibrancy there from the quartet at the Raila Odinga Stadium in the county of Homa Bay. And we say from Nairobi, Good morning, gentlemen. Morning.